divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. Yeah. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. United we stand, divided we fall. Funkin' with the poor people most of all, as they poison our mind with food control. Third eye is wise, sacrifice. Wake up and see what they doing to you and me. Keeping a separate product of Illuminati, like the jail cell did my boss John Gotti. Dirty politics and high-priced prostitutions reside in all the important positions. Just look around at the injustice in the world. Some forced to live in the deplorable conditions. Watch us, watch what we do. This rap is coming up just for you. So sit back, relax, check on our phone calls. The nappy hip-hop army always bumping in your trunk. Twitter, tweet, the TikTok. The ruthless corporate greedies don't give a damn about the needy. A movement, genocide and homicide is happening all around the world. Promise me this, promise me that, when all the fat cats stabbing us in the back. Man, get off my back, bro. Killing me. Let me see you wave your hand. We all wanna take a stand. Rise up against the corporate man. Let me head all across this land. Oh yeah. Nothing but this new type funk 2022. Let me see you wave your hands. We all wanna take a stand. Rise up against the corporate man. Let me head all across this land. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. United we stand, divided we fall. One more time. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. United we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together. What's up? Welcome to another edition of Funk from the Front Seat. Coming to you live from number 1 Bimini Road over here in Raleigh. My new digs or whatever. Just got that straightened out. Been on the move for a minute. But welcome to everybody. I want you guys to stay active on the chat line. Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today, we got a little special something. My producer and I have been talking about a lot of stuff this year. But we got a lot of shout outs to do before we get started. But I'm going to just give you a little preview of the funk view, of the P view, of the funky, how we're going to do this today. So Mark and I and all my guests constantly and all the fans that watch, I appreciate you guys, man, so much, man. Much love to YouTube. Shout out to StreamYard. You guys are kicking it, making it work for us, man. But, you know, a lot of my fans and guests and people that watch the show comment from time to time about things. So we thought, Mark, producer, and I thought that we put together this segment today, and we're just going to rant on some stuff. So if you got some stuff you want to complain about, bitch about, moan about, rant about, you ain't happy with something, this is this day to do that, and we're going to really make that happen. And I hope y'all are feeling the vibe and the new digs. I'm very loved, and I've been blessed to get this opportunity to be in this house, so it's beautiful. But check this out. First of all, a shout out to my guy, Kevin Harrington. He lost his grandmother, and she's going home, I believe, sometime today or tomorrow, or maybe they had the homegoing service. I'm not sure, but she was 104. So shout out to the matriarch of that family. And I also wanted to give a shout out to, my sub drummer, Lulu, LaTanya, and her family, because her dad passed a couple of weeks ago and he transitioned out of here to a better place. So we want to make sure we recognize anybody that has a transition, a birthday, or a celebration or a homegoing or anything of that nature that you want to celebrate. You hit me up on the thread, boom, and we'll post it. Also today I got David Brooks. Dr. Brookenstein is flying around the universe, and he said he might just beam in with a ramp of his own, but I can't promise you that. And I got a special surprise. So my guy Shindig up in Boston sent me a Christmas track, and we're going to run that for you a little later. So today's show, we got a little bit of everything going on. We're going to have some surprises, a few tricks up our sleeve, as we introduce what we're going to be doing for 2024, how we're going to incorporate Cheryl, Club Funk, the ambassador, into the show as a guest host and things of that nature. Now, forgive me, because this weather down south here is crazy. One day it's cold, one day it's hot. So my nose is running a little bit, but it's all good. So check this out. We started this show a little over 4 years ago. This coming, I think, May will be 5 years. So we have quite a lot of content to talk about. And to be blessed, to be honored, I want to give my guy, who did an interview with me on Inspired Voices, and it was really, really inspirational thing to do. I had two really dope interviews this past week. Of course, I ain't going to peek the one with the Club Funketeers is coming December 8th, but also look out for my guy Oliver on Inspired Voices, and you'll see those links posted on my website, and you guys can go check it out. And I kind of told my whole story, things that you guys don't really know about me, but I'm saving it so y'all can check it out for that interview. But you'll be surprised at some ups and downs that I've had. And, the main thing was for me to tell my story honestly, truthfully, not through my eyes, but through the eyes of the universe. And maybe I can inspire and help someone else become, better, take that next step, not be feeling so closed in, closed off. And I got to give a few shout outs that I always do. Brenda up in Ohio, I love you, sweetheart, and I hope you're feeling better and you and your family. Bootsy and Patty, of course, thank you for the support. Tons and tons of love to you, the Dr. Funkenstein and Caroline Clinton, my guy Tony Cameron, the Funk All-Stars, and of course, everybody out there that's down with us. I'm going to give you a shout out early today, JTRP on P-Funk Radio. Thank you so much for always spinning the stuff, along with Godzilla, Gabe Gonzalez, and also Larry Funkster Jones. I love you, Robin Circular P, and my guy down in Texas, Philly Phil. Get on the Funk Bus on Tuesdays. So y'all can check out all those shows. You know where to go. We in the same funk circles. Also, HJ Entertainment, Heidi, I'm glad you're feeling better. Looking forward to those out-of-state bookings and traveling and touring, this summer as you book us. Kane and Jams, of course, my guy Kevin Harrington, Nappy Head Funk Army, and Nappy Head Funk Army 2.0. Now, let me tell you about my original cats. We are being inducted into the Funk Hall of Fame in 2024, thanks to my guy and his generous, invitation, Mr. David Webb, Funk Chronicles up in Dayton, Ohio. So, Mr. David Webb, kudos to you, brother. We constantly support each other. I can pick up the phone and call you whenever I need to, man. And that means the world to me, man. And thank you for that. And thank you for allowing us to share a small portion of something that you started up there, man. And then we're going to help you continue that no matter what. You guys need to go to the Funk Chronicles website, go to the Dayton, Ohio Radio Scene Music Show, his radio show, and support these brothers and sisters because they're trying to do it. We're doing it. We're making it happen. And we're keeping the funk alive every way we know how. And let me tell you, everybody is in there. Steve Arrington's in there. Slave is in there. I've seen all types of interviews. Mike Hampton was in there. So, he interviews everybody. Don't get it twisted. He's up on it. And I'm just honored to be a fly on the wall, as one of my songs said, fly on the wall in the Hall of Funk. And finally, wow, it came to fruition when I wrote that in 98. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, man, I'm sorry, my sinuses. It's 70 degrees here right now after it was like 30 the other day, and it's just completely screwing up my system. Dr. Brookenstein, of course, you've been with me from the beginning. I love you for that. DJ Cocolino, and Elizabetta in Ireland, I can't thank you guys enough for your overseas support around the world for the funk. And we just picked up a new one, New Funk Radio in Tierney, France. So you guys ran it this morning at 9 a.m. You ran it the other day. I can't thank you guys enough, man. My management company down here, Oak City Music Collective, you know, Diego and everything. Diego, feel better. I know you never watched the show, but I hope you feel better, bro, and you can make that trip to wherever you're going. Q&A Entertainment. Otis, you know how I feel about you. Brooke Clagett, my funk angel. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Afterglow, 92416. Donna. Nothing be said. You know, I was rocking my Boogie Munson gear yesterday. I appreciate that, and thank you for allowing me to join that page. Patricia Dioria, Aquarius Rising Art, Curtis Wilcox, and, of course, George DeFunca Vinci. And all these people are very, very pertinent to my spirit. You know, CB over here in Garner, I love you. See you soon. Stay healthy. Stay prayed up. Namaste. Yeah, so check this out. Rants. Everybody's got a rant. We hear them all day long. All people do is bitch and moan about shit. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, not everybody, and not all the time, but enough to where it made me think, well, maybe I ought to do a show about this, because people are upset about a lot of things in this country, in this world. We got protests all over the place. We got homelessness all over the place. We have children, you know, shooting up schools. We have all types of things that we as Funketeers are constantly battling to try to make better. For instance, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm part of the national campaign for Funk, Not Fight. And this is the universal symbol for that. Funk, not fight. Here's the funk, and that's not fight. Funk, not fight. All right. We all know what Bootsy and Patty's doing. They started it in Ohio. And then it moved to, I believe, Detroit. And now they're on the West Coast working with, I believe, Snoop Dogg and those guys. And then, believe it or not, you know, which I believe, because I know we've been planning it, we're going to do some stuff down here with them in North Carolina and South Carolina, in this area in Georgia. So, you know, I'm looking forward to that in 2024. We got a lot of good stuff popping. But as Funketeers, we all believe in the power of the one. And anybody that's a true funk soldier knows what the power of the one is, right? We know about the one. Hit it on the one. We know about that. So, yeah, I think that now that we're in this 3-year post-COVID malaise of jobs coming, jobs going, people don't want to work, but they do want to work. The technological age is taking off again. Obviously, we know all the stuff that they're not showing us. Believe me, for everything you see, there's a million things that we don't see and don't know about. And that's cool, because, you know, sometimes I don't want to know everything. Sometimes I just want to exist and be. Shout out to my friend Janice. You know, love you, Janice. Thank you so much for all your help and support. You know, looking forward to seeing you soon. So check this out. When we think about things that make us angry, and I just went through this, right? There has to be a way for us to start separating those feelings of anxiety and anger. And instead of those two things coming together, because I know I'm an Aries, so I know when my anxiety and my anger comes together, it's like a neutron bomb. As much as I may want to stop and control something, it's impossible until it just wears off. So I've been reading a lot this week. Sadhguru, Dolores Cannon. I went back to my studies. I went back to my roots. I went back to my spiritual purpose, which I wrote a song, Zachariah Cloud 9. Spiritual purpose, right? And ironically, Mark's guy met a Buddhist yesterday. He called me and he wants to play Spiritual Purpose and his playlist. So thank you, Chef, for that, and Cherie and John and everybody that played on it, man. But check this out. When I look at how, as a gatekeeper now, George DeFunca Vinci, what up, bro? What up? What up? See, I got your artwork up in the new place, bro. I got it up this morning just in time. And I want you to jump on if you got a rant, bro. I'm going to send you the link. Feel free to jump on the show, because I know there's some stuff you want to complain about. As we talking right now, I'm going to send you the link to join the show. If you're more than welcome after 12:30. But yo, and please, by all means, you know, on the thread as well. But when I think about, you know, what I wanted to do in this rant and everything that's going on, and how we need to separate those feelings of anxiety from anger. And then when we do that, Cool. When we do that, then we're able to make better decisions. And as I've gotten older and I'm a gatekeeper and I've been blessed with so many nice things lately, I realize as a gatekeeper, I owe it to myself, I owe it to my audience, and I owe it to the universe to not get as anxious about things I have no control over. And that's really hard because we all basically feel the way our government has been fricky frying us over. We all basically feel like we have no control over our lives. I don't care if you got $8 million billion, or I don't care if you got 8 cents in your pocket. There isn't a time during the day that you don't feel like you're out of control of something if your chakras and spiritual purpose is not aligned. Now, those that have a spiritual purpose and alignment, you had to go through some stuff to get there. I know because I'm obtaining that now. That knowledge is just now downloading into me because I had to remove myself from some other things that weren't making me healthy. And now that I've done that, and this goes back to a 4 or 5 year process, you know, it wasn't just like something that happened overnight, a 4 or 5 year process of me elevating that next step as evidenced by the spiritual peace that I feel inside, right? And that's what it is. And when you feel that spiritual peace inside, you can then go on and help others, you know, and actually see peace in others when there's anger and try not to get caught up in it. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I wrote down a list of things that really have been making me anxious, or I'm trying to understand why people are acting this way. Mark's going to come on with his list of rants. I'm inviting a few other people on with their list, and we can all just talk about life, because sometimes life just needs to be talked about in a positive spiritual way. It doesn't have to be bashed. It doesn't have to be focused on as a negative or positive. It just has to be focused on how can we make life better for each other, our kids, our spiritual partners, our loved ones, and people that's in our lives that we know need that and do a lot of good for us. George, I just sent that to your Facebook Messenger, bro. So check it out. One of my favorites right now, and I'm going to start off light. I ain't going to drag y'all all the way down my rabbit hole just yet because we got a long ways to go. But one of my pet peeves is this cell phone thing. Now check it out. The cell phone is a tool, like this pen, right? For example, this is just a tool. I just used it to send something, to do something I wanted, right? And again, forgive me because I'm sneezing like crazy. Sorry. The cell phone is a tool. And as a tool, you don't use the same tools all the time, every day. If you're a carpenter, there is a point in the day where you put that hammer down. If you're a bus driver and the bus is your tool, there is a point where you're not doing that. If you're a teacher and you teach, however you teach, there's a point that you're not using the tools in your classroom 24 hours a day. None of us use our tools 24 hours a day. We only have one tool that we are all connected to that we use 24 hours a day, and that's our mind. That's our tool. Because everything that came from a human being's mind, men and women, by the way, begot this stuff, okay? So let's break it down. What's the best way? Oh my God, excuse me. What's the best way to control a segment of society? The best way to control a certain segment of society is to get them believing that they need something and they can't live without it, right? So they have tricked us and have put us in positions to where we use this tool as more than what it's for. We use it as a crutch. We use it as a way to constantly feed the dopamine. And for y'all know what that's about, because everybody that watches this show is highly on another level. The dopamine in your body, ding, ping, ping, ding, bing, ding, bing, ding, bing, beep, 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 ding, ping, 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 all the time, all day long, right? whether it's notifications, whether it's ads popping up, whether it's stuff we're looking for. It's just a tool. Remember that. Don't let the tool control you. If you sit that hammer down on the floor, the hammer can't hammer itself unless it's a ghost or something or aliens. But other than that, it can't. You have to pick it up to do it. So I'm specifically talking about anybody, young and old, that's intimidated by anything that's said or posted or done on this. Put it down. Case closed. If you put it down, it can't help you. It can't harm you. It's an inanimate object with information flowing through it. So that's how they get us. They want us to constantly absorb more information than we can process. And the millennials and the newer generations process information a lot faster than we do. But one thing that we have that they don't have, we have the ability to understand the information that we're processing. Like young people fly through stuff and you ask them what they saw 10 seconds ago, they won't know because they're on to the next thing. And there's nothing against them. That's the generation they're born in. But if you are able to slow down and process, you would realize half the BS that you're actually looking at is only poisoning your mind. That's all it's doing. Only poisoning your mind. It's not feeding your soul. It's not giving you anything that you probably don't know. Anything that you really want to know, boom, you could Google it or whatever. It's not taking care of your families unless you're making money from it. Then you're using the tool properly. You know, like those of us that are ride sharers, I Uber when I'm not doing music. I'm using my tool in such a way to where it's profitable to me. I am making money from it. I am not just like using it, because, you know, I got my phone on, I want to ride around, right? Which I'm going to get to in a second. But those tools that we have in life, the powers that be, and I hope I don't get kicked off the air for saying this, and this is only my opinion, not the opinion of StreamYard, not the opinion of YouTube or Facebook or any other platform that I'm on, TikTok, Fun from the Front Seat. When we start taking away from what they want to control us with, then we can get the power back. Like Chuck D said, Public Enemy, fight the power. James Brown said, this is why they was, prophets, Bob Marley. Oh, what the rat race, it is a rat race. And an abundance of water, a fool is thirsty. We have all the information in the world, but yet we're constantly trying to figure out what we're doing. It's a rat race. And because we don't utilize the tools that we have in our life correctly, it becomes a bit of a struggle and a challenge on a daily basis. So my suggestion to you, pick a day, if you can, where you could take a couple of hours. I do mine on Monday. If you guys notice, you don't see nothing coming from me on Monday. I call it Blackout Monday, just like the athletes do sometimes, even though I don't believe they do it. But that's what I call it. I don't do anything. I unplug myself from it because it's necessary for your brain to organically breathe in information that it needs to survive. The brain is like my plants over here. You can't see it, but behind me, oh, you can probably see a little bit of it. Like my plants on the wall right over here, right? They need sunlight. Without sunlight, nothing on this planet can survive. So those of you that like to stay in the dark, mistake number one. Get your behind in some sunlight. Get in, unless you have some kind of disease or you're albino where you can't be, I get that. But if you can get in sunlight, you better get some because the sun ain't going to be there forever. You need sun to survive. You need light. This is why we strive to get back to the light. It's all about that. Power of the one. Full circle. George Clinton. Flashlight. Bootsy Collins. Flashlight. Everybody's got a little light under the sun. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Keep your head to the sky. They've been telling us and telling us and telling us. Sly and the Family Stone. That's right, Dr. B. You need that vitamin D, bro. See, so if you do not get some sunlight in your body, You're depriving the most important organ in your body, which keeps your body alive, your brain. So why would you do that? Don't do it. Don't do it. I got you, G. Don't do it. So don't deprive yourself of things you need because of a tool. Stay off TikTok once in a while. I know that's how some of y'all have to do it, but you don't need to be on it 24/7, 365. I'm telling you, you're missing out on the real world. There are things happening around you that you see on TikTok that you think are real, but they're only real in a two-dimensional sense. We live in a 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D dimensional universe, and your spirit is missing out. You're allowing the government to control your spirit and what you can and can't process and intake. Because believe me, if they don't want something on, you're not going to see it. If they want something on, you're going to see it on one of your platforms. I know because I've been studying this all year. I didn't just put this show together last night, this particular version of it, this topic. I thought about this stuff all year. I thought about why am I doing some things and not doing others? Why did I run out of time today? How much time did I waste looking at some bullshit that I don't even have no desire to understand or want to be a part of that's halfway somewhere else and it don't even really affect me? That's how they get you. The major distractions, that's how they get you. Because they know this election year coming up, shit's going to hit the fan again. So they're giving you, feeding you through this tool. Remember, it's just a tool. Use it for good. Use technology for good. Use technology to cure things like cancer. Use technology to help people get from point A to point B. Use technology to conquer language barriers, to teach, to learn. It's great. It's a learning tool for that. The way that we have set ourselves up, right now we're teetering and tottering. We have the light workers, and then we have the people that are trying to be light and just can't figure it out. And I suggest you start with what you're holding in your hand. Maybe some of you right now. Don't put me down. Don't turn me off because I'm trying to hip you to some shit. But at the same time, just like understand, it's just a tool. It's just a tool, man. Now, as a tool, let me tell you guys something right now. Stop texting and driving. You're killing yourselves and you're killing other people. If you're a carpenter and you're holding a hammer, you ain't holding it in your hand while you drive. You can easily, there isn't a cell phone in the world that doesn't have a speakerphone. Why do you need to drive like this? Because the dopamine in your brain that the government is pumping into you got you thinking that your hand has to hold it. Plain and simple. No other reason. It's a habit. Like cigarettes, bad habit. It's a habit. Got to have it in your hand. Got to drive with it in your hand. Got to do selfies while you're driving. Got to answer texts and stuff while you're driving. I know because I was guilty of it. I ain't telling you nothing. I ain't no hypocrite. I know. So I'm trying to check myself and then help others check themselves. That's right. I'm going to put up some of these comments right now because y'all need to see them. First of all, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. I know a lot of you guys are watching on the thread. We had some family losses today. Kevin, you know my fan, man, and I love you, man. And, I'm hoping that everything goes smoothly down south for you, man. So, I appreciate that. George DeFunco Vinci, what's funky, y'all? Good morning, man. I'm trying to get him on when he gets a minute. He probably with his grandbaby's painting. Dr. Brookenstein, yeah, you need that vitamin D for sure. George says, we freeze to death without the sun. That's right. See, that's what I'm trying to hit people to. You got to get out and get some sun, bro. It's like, come on. Being cooped up in the house with the shades down and everything like that, you're depriving the most important thing in your body. That's like not giving a plant water. How do you deprive yourself of sunlight? You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. So we would freeze to death without the sun. Dr. Brookenstein also said, or use Bluetooth heads. So that's right, D. You know what I'm saying? So, people that are teetering or tottering on their spiritual journey, no one can take that journey but you. Only you could take that journey. But others around you may care about you and love you to death, but they can't do anything about it. You know, if you're driving and you look at here and you crash into somebody and kill yourself and kill them, you gone. You ain't coming back from that. So do me a favor. Don't text and drive. That's my message. That's my rant about the cell phones, because I had to get that off my chest. I've been wanting to say that for like 8 months, you know. First of all, it was Jimi Hendrix's birthday. So shout out to Maurice James this past week. Frankie Kashwati, drummer for James Brown, House Calls, Bootsy Collins, Bootsy's Rubber Band, Bootsy's New Rubber Band, Parliament Funkadelic, on and on and on. Bernie Worrell, Frankie Cash, I know it was your birthday, bro. You know, so that's dope. Before I get to my rant on teachers, I wanted to shout out something that probably slipped by y'all because everybody's so busy holiday time. See, this is how the Illuminati and the government does shit. They always put out important shit that could be important for some people around the time when you're most busy and you really shouldn't be spending all your money that you got to pay back for the next 3 years anyway, because we all know Christmas and a little paganish, and we ain't going to go no further than that. I'm going to let everybody keep their own opinions about it. I'm just going to tell you my personal opinion about holidays. I just think that they should be spent with family and friends. I don't care what names they're called, but I don't think they have to be locked into one specific thing, only because everybody sees life differently, and that's your option, that's your choice. God bless you for doing it. But yeah, so Rosa Parks, it was the anniversary of her, I think it was like 60 years, 58 years, I think, of her saying, no, I ain't sitting in the back of the bus. And they're trying to pass a federal law, is on the books right now. She would be the first woman, and happen to be a woman of color, that would have a national holiday on December 1st. Okay? So they're trying to make that happen. So if you see that on your ballot somewhere, you all know what's right. You know what I'm saying? You definitely know what's right. Now, here's the thing that I think people get twisted about Rosa Parks. You see images of her, oh, this and that. She was a young 45-year-old, brilliant, vibrant woman. She was an activist. So she didn't just plan to go sit on the bus and humbly, and then the thing happened. Didn't work like that. Because her niece told the story about how Rosa planned this. She was in that area more economically in tune with how economic impact would affect the masses and all the white people that owned everything. So she didn't just walk around and say, you know, today, screw it, I ain't sitting there. No, she had a plan. She had a plan. See, because she didn't go into it without a plan. She knew she was going to get arrested, but she also knew she would spark and be part of, because she wasn't the main one that sparked the movement. We can't forget about Medgar Evers. There are many black men and women that we don't even hear about that sparked that movement. It wasn't sparked by one thing. The movement was sparked by a need for change. That's what sparked the movement. That's what sparks every movement. It doesn't matter who likes to match. It does sign it with Martin Luther King and people of stature, but it doesn't matter who likes to match or pours the gasoline. Long as it gets sparked, it could be sparked by lightning, an act of God. So she planned this, and kudos to her family for pushing this. I know one thing, she needs to get Stevie Wonder involved, because I tell you what, Stevie Wonder can get shit passed for black people. I seen him do it with Martin Luther King Day. So if you got a holiday, don't go to your government. You better go to Stevie Wonder, because he can get it done. I seen him do it. You know, so yeah, let's recognize, you know, Rosa Parks. And I got nothing against any powerful woman of any race, creed, or color in the world. I got nothing against you. More power to you. I already know you're the strongest people on the planet. I know that for a fact. Hold on, let me see who I got beaming in here that we can get it on the red. I got my guy, George the Funkavinci. What up, bro?
What's happening?
How you doing, man? Thank you for joining our show today. Some rants. George the Funkavinci's artwork, as you can see, is rocking it right there.
and look, and I got this one right here.
Yo, the flag on the funk banner.
Yeah.
That's what's up, bro. That's dope.
See?
I am truly honored and blessed, man, that you're knocking this out, man. And That's going to be our backdrop banner for this coming season, and it's the title of our new song, Flag of the Funk, which you can get on Spotify. I wanted to shout out to my guy Ken Frank. I finally got his up in a nice area
That's
too.
dope.
I just moved here, yeah. So it's a collage, and I just moved here, so I kind of been getting settled, man. But how you doing, man? How's everything?
Oh man, I'm hanging in there, man, and kicking back. I might be moving too.
Okay.
At the end of this month.
Where to? Still in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's what it is. Rent goes up. Got to move where you can afford it.
Bro, I'm telling you, from your mouth to God's ears, Dr. Brookenstein says he loves you.
What's up, doctor?
That's why I had to move. I've been blessed because I got into a much better situation, with somebody that's mad cool. But the rent, man, they gentrifying, and I'm gonna let you speak on that because I know that's one of your pet peeves. So you go ahead, man. You got the floor, man. You can speak on it, bro.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. It's supposed to be income-based apartments, and but they raise the rent every year. I've been here about 5 years, man. I was here when they first opened this place, and the rent was real cheap, Like I was in a 1-bedroom for like $695, okay, and then it got all the way up to $895. So I needed a 2-bedroom because my granddaughter comes, and had to stay over, and so I went and got into a 2-bedroom, and it started off at like I think it was 9 something, and then now it's about to go up to 1,100. See, it's supposed to be income based though.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, and for those of you that don't know, this brother is a veteran of our country. Okay, so we honor you for that. We ain't gonna never forget those men and women like yourself, past, present, and future, that have laid it on the line day in, day out, and they never get any credit. So, first of all, thank you. I take my hat off to you for your service, right? I think when we look at the future of housing in this country, it's going to be tribal.
Yeah.
Families moving back in with families.
Yeah.
People living together, rooming together, getting bigger houses, but 2-3 people in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody coexisting, because that's what they're forcing us to do little by little.
Mm-hmm.
We can't sleep on it. It's happening before our very eyes.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this. I think every veteran that comes out with the honorable discharge should get their 40 acres and a mule. Like, they should get a place without question. Okay? They should get a place and be sustained, But, I'm using the VA to put me in an establishment where there's a lot, veterans living in apartments, and the rent is real low, so I'm about to do that. See,
you see, that's the beauty of a brother like you that can come on and tell other veterans like the deal, because a lot of people, they may not really want to take that step, and then they end up in a worse situation. But because you're actually living it, I'm grateful you're sharing your story with us, because, like I said, we all are living this. This is not here. I know your state, every state across this country pretty much has a tent city.
Oh yeah, everywhere. Everybody got
everywhere, those. Man. Everywhere. Why do you think that we're being ignored more than we've ever been ignored before?
Shoot, I would just say this. It's our skin color, man. It's the skin we're in. And it's a shame. Most of those veterans under the bridge, tents, they're veterans. Most of them. And most veterans don't go out and seek assistance because they don't know about it. Okay, and then it comes to pride. You know, we got that man pride that
Yeah.
holds us up. You know, and the reason why, you know, I don't know, they don't come after us to help us, like that. Like I said, most of it is skin color, and then there's that mental health part of it. You know, a lot of the people that live under the bridge like that, they have mental issues, and it's hard for them to actually come out of that. You see, you take them and put them in a place, and they got a nice place to live now, but they'll leave and go right back under the bridge because they have that. It's a mental thing, man. You know.
Yeah. You know what I noticed about PTSD, and we've all had suffered, obviously military veterans, men and women, but people that even aren't in any walk of life because of COVID, we're all suffering from COVID PTSD.
Yeah.
Right? We don't see now. That's what I tell people: don't punch down on yourself too hard, because believe me, you may not feel it, but it's there. We all went through COVID,
Yeah.
and what I see a lot of times is when a person is teetering on depression or teetering, they could go either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the slightest thing could happen, it pushes them over the edge, but they may not really be towards the mentally ill side as far as schizophrenia and other things go, but they may be clinically depressed,
Yeah.
like depressed to the point where if you lose everything, that can make you depressed. And
Yeah.
then you end up in the
Up.
street, and then people say, oh, you're mentally ill. No, you just are a person that got down on their luck or had something happen. And then all of a sudden, people look at you different because they don't want to know your story. They don't want to understand. They don't want to, they turn their head the other way. They see you sitting there, they walk past, turn their head the other way. I
Mm-hmm.
never look down on anyone in the street or turn away. I never do that because, see, I know what that's like. I've experienced it. Now, when we talk about our educational system, when we're hanging out today with friends and family, just popping on, talking about our favorite rants, what is a rant that you have, something that you want to say to get off your chest, that you want to just let people know, yo, you're sick and tired of it?
Well, as far as the education go, taking away Black history, the real Black history. They got a Black history, but it's watered down. Yeah, that pissed me off. Now in my head, I had to throw away at least 90% of what I was taught in school. You see, because I know I wasn't taught the real stuff. You see, only thing I can keep was math, okay, and science.
Right.
Right. That's the only thing you can keep.
Exactly.
Because the rest of it was BS.
Yo, bro, you're right. You know what's funny too? It's funny because I was thinking about that the other day. Like, the government plays the long game, don't they? Because they're like, listen, we'll tell them all this stuff. And they're 30 or 40 years of indoctrinated into this bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now we got to undoctrinate ourselves, seek out the new information, and understand, like, damn, not only did they screw us, they screwed us in every possible way.
Yeah. From the brain to the tang, man.
Yeah, and I'm not just talking about brothers and sisters, Black people. We all brothers and sisters. Yeah. I'm talking about white kids was learning the same shit we was learning.
Yeah.
So was Puerto Ricans. So was Asian. We was all learning the same bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, nobody ever apologized for that.
Right.
I want my apology. I'll never get my 40 acres of the mule, but damn it, I want an apology.
Right.
For them telling me Frederick Douglass was the only Black person in history and George Washington Carver. Those two, that's it.
Yeah.
I was in my mind, even as a kid, bro, in my mind, I was like, only two people did all this shit? Come on.
And that's why I don't celebrate Columbus Day, man, because I know there's people already here. Okay, you can't discover something that that's already found it. People are here already. He just ran up on it. Yeah, I think, tell you the truth, he couldn't navigate back home, and he ended up here, and met people. That was it. He didn't he couldn't name a country that's already named.
Yep, that's right. And he had the dregs from his country, the thieves, the robbers, the this, the that. That became his crew because it wasn't his first go round. He had done some other shit and screwed that up too. Like, listen, take these mugs, get the hell out of here. It's too. Like, speaking of Native Americans, and last month was Indigenous Peoples Month, I believe they call it. And kudos to Native Americans, because besides like Black people in Puerto Rico and Spanish people and anybody of color, Native Americans are always forgotten about.
Yeah.
And it really is a sad, sad thing, because you have Native Americans in Mexican cultures, Black cultures, white cultures, mixed. It's a mixture. Because they were the first people hit.
Yeah. And think about it. In my eyes, there's really no race, because we all bleed the same color.
Yep. Same.
All our organs are in the same places. Yep. Okay. We're just one big people. And it's like it's one nation, it should be, you see, because who grows horns and stuff? Nobody grows horns. Nobody, nobody is that different. It's just we look a little different, maybe a color, but we're all one race.
That's true. David Brooks, I like your comment. Columbus was the Trump of his day. Yo, we're gonna get to him in a minute. We definitely going in on him a little bit. But bro, like you said, there is one race, the human race. That's why I tell everybody I've ever met, please read Carl Sagan's book, The Pale Blue Dot. Look at the title. We just the pale blue dot in the universe. You know, and the creator created all of this. We all know the power of the one. So when we think about Columbus and people that have taken credit for shit they simply didn't do, that's still happening today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get into something about my educators of the world, teachers, kindergarten, whatever. I don't really want to count college, because at that point they're making a decent living. But I'm talking about, daycare workers, elementary, junior high, and high school teachers that got to buy their own supplies, got to deal with. I talked to a teacher the other day. She said she had to be a psychologist, psychiatrist, a mom, and sometimes dad or both, a bouncer, a person that has to be security, and worry about her class, and teach a bullshit standardized test that doesn't count or doesn't even make sense, and amongst other things, be the herder of the class. If some shit jumps off, you now got to protect all of these kids.
Yeah.
And she told me when she goes home, she's so overwhelmed. And she don't even have kids of her own. She said she is so overwhelmed with grief that there aren't enough teachers to help out. There aren't enough supplies. She's got to worry about, breaking up fights if she's in a bad area, being attacked by kids that are just out of their mind and they're angry and don't know how to lash out. So they lash out on teachers. You see a lot of these videos that people post, and you shouldn't post them because it only fuels the fire and it only burns up that negative energy. It makes it powerful. Like, of kids punching teachers and slapping teachers and all this other kind of crazy stuff. Now, that would never happen in my day. I got to tell you, youngins out there.
Yeah. On our days,
you are not getting up in a classroom and doing anything in my day.
Yeah,
but back then the teacher and the parents had the right to knock you the fuck out.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Look, you be like standing on that line, bend over and grab your knees. What?
Yep.
Get them swats.
Exactly. You wasn't pulling no bullshit. And then if the principal was coming to get you, you was definitely in some hot water.
Oh yeah.
He was gonna bum rush you.
Yep. You'll get them hands, boy. I tell you.
He was gonna bum rush you, man. I was petrified of my principal. In elementary school, this guy named Mr. Lockhart, he was like 6'3", like 230, built like a brick house. I remember kids that used to F up. He used to snatch him by the suspenders and shake him like a rat. Right? And they would come back in class off the shuttles and shit, right? And then they would be like,
yep. Look,
our
teacher would be waiting for us to come back from the principal's office. And as soon as you walk in the classroom door, you crying, she's standing there with a tissue.
To mock you, right?
Yeah. In front of everybody.
Yes, you know? yes.
That's a trip.
But you know what that taught us? Humility.
Yeah, that's true.
And it taught us like how to be part of a system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how to get along.
Yeah.
We were like not individuals. Like a lot of things now are so individualized, which is good and bad. But back then, like I see some stuff, I was like, you mean to tell me this kid knocked out the gym teacher?
Right.
And he's in junior high school?
Yeah.
Because the teachers can't hit the kids back.
Yep. Our school was like educational timeout.
Yeah, exactly. And you know something else, kids? There were no off days. You went to school every day, sick or not. That's what the nursing office was for.
That's right.
You didn't like, oh, I got a sniffle, or oh, I can't deal with shit today, or life's too hard. And I get it. Times have changed. These kids got a lot more stress to deal with than we do. So I'm not knocking any young person out there that's going through stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is when we were coming up, we just grew up in a different era. And the respect factor was there. You did not do things to adults like you youngins are doing to adults now. That's your mistake. You don't respect what we be trying to tell you sometimes, and then the only way you know how to react to it is in a violent way. And that's why we're doing this show today, to try to squelch some of that, give you a safe haven, do some artwork, some music, something else. But let me ask you something. In the state of Texas where you are, what is the school system like when it comes to paying teachers?
Well, you know what? I mean, they have some issues at one point when I first moved out here to Texas, but now I think they're actually paying them pretty good, because they went on strike for a minute,
Yeah, and, I saw that.
Yeah, and now they're getting pretty good pay, and now they have a problem with bus drivers. It's hard to get bus drivers for them because the kids be acting a fool on the bus, and then when they tell you can't touch the kids or break them up, then you look bad because you didn't do nothing to help a kid not get beat down, you see, and so you get blamed and get rolled up and stuff like that for stuff that you don't have no control over, and so that a lot of bus drivers quit.
Can't blame them.
Yeah.
Because if you can't, first of all, and I know because I drove a school bus in Virginia, I dealt with the same thing. To me, the ladies that have been there the longest was able to deal with the kids. Elementary school kids, you could yell at them and they would be quiet. High school kids didn't want to be bothered. It was the junior high school kids that was the hardest for me. Right. I drove a school bus in Virginia. I had a CDL, right? And the kids literally would throw violins out the window, books, this, I have to stop. Pick that stuff up, stop traffic, get on the back on the bus, try to get the kids to stop fighting. They were fighting like every day. I eventually did it for like 6 months and I quit. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the moxie for it. I was like, nah, screw this. Because like you said, bro, you got to hear from a parent that you let their child get beat up. You got to hear from the school, oh, you disciplined them too hard. And you got to still watch the road and worry about the other 50 kids you got.
Yeah, that's a
fact. Still make the stops on time.
Yep, and then I heard a guy getting sued for not breaking up a fight, on the bus, and they tried to sue him.
Right.
And he won because it's not his problem. You see?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but the fact is, the point is that he was getting sued. you know. And if he would have lost, I mean, man, you would have saw way more people quitting. You see, because I wouldn't take the chance. If I could have been a bus driver for about 20 years. If I was in my 20th year and saw that a colleague of mine got sued for not breaking up a fight,
Yep.
oh, I would have bounced out. Because
Yeah.
I would have bounced because I
Same with
wouldn't want that to happen.
Yeah, same. I agree with you because here in North Carolina, every bus I see on the back when it says need drivers immediately,
Yep.
they'll let you drive while you training for your CDL. They don't even care.
Exactly.
I see bus drivers on the road now. I know damn well they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
They're missing the lights ain't working. They don't know when to put on lights at the railroad track. I said, man, this person must be brand new. You see them looking at the schedule and trying to drive, you know? And see, this is why our government could do so many good things if they wanted to, because it starts with that education. If you in school and you can get these kids focused on something other than violence, you know, give them alternatives. Stop doing these bullshit standardized tests. I think if you want to homeschool your child, you should be just allowed to do it, no questions asked. If you want to send them to school, you should be allowed to do it, no questions asked. I don't think they should be putting a cap or a process on education. What's up, Jack's Toes? How you doing? What up, man? What's good, bro? Thank you for the nice comments, man. I think that you should be able to do whatever you want because that's what they doing.
Yeah.
So and if I got a child, go ahead.
Then you could teach your kid the real histories. Okay, you can find out, do your research to find the real histories, then bring it back to your kid at home school. You see? Yep. And they say spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, look at a whole bunch of teens out there right now that are spoiled.
You know, there's something to be said for that too, because again, martial law. I mean, I'm sorry, punishment of a child. It doesn't. When people spoke of that, it didn't necessarily mean you're literally doing it, but it's the threat of it. And then sometimes, you know, we definitely got our behinds beat because discipline, like Mark Lee just put up, is a good thing. See, now my dad was a minister. I wasn't cutting up in church. I used to go down in the basement and run around where he couldn't see me. But when I was sitting in the pews, I was good. Because I knew if I didn't, I would get spanking.
Yeah.
It was plain and simple. It was no debate. There was no timeout. There was no we're going to punish you or take your toys away. No, you're getting your butt whooped.
You're getting your butt whooped, And it works way better because we came out right. You see? You know? Hey, if you try that now, the kids got the power of CPS.
They call the cops on you.
Yeah. And then you go to jail. They'll take your kids, you know, and then call you a what they say, deadbeat or something, because you whooped your kid and the law says you can't.
Like that, and there's a point of discipline and then there's a point of abuse. So we're not talking about abusive parents.
Right.
Don't get this twisted, y'all. We're not saying beat your kids, you know, this and that. No, it ain't even about that. I have 2 daughters. I only spanked one of them once.
Yeah.
That was it. Because she was talking back to her aunt and said some things that she shouldn't have said. But other than that, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about how discipline can turn things around and give you more options and be more of a critical thinker.
Yeah.
That's what these kids are missing today, the ones that don't get it. And I meet 75% of the beautiful young people I meet between the ages of 20 and 40, they got it. It's that 25% that's out there that's running amok that makes it look bad for everybody else.
Yep.
That's that 25% the teachers can't control.
I definitely disciplined mines the same way I got disciplined. You know, and my boys, they out there and they're right. You see?
That's right.
Yeah.
You're rocking. I know.
Yeah.
I know. See, and when again, the government played the long game, though, because they're like, all we got to do is screw up the educational system and make generation after generation of foolishness. Some will slip through. Brothers like you and me, the light will get us and we'll figure it out. But when we try to pass it on to the young people now, they're so enamored with this, they can't understand this.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there, we're not putting you down and knocking you. We're just spitting facts to you because this brother and I have reached a certain point on our journey where we can actually now drop some serious knowledge on you. I wouldn't have been able to drop this 20, 30, 40 years ago, maybe not even 10. But, you know, I'm in the Diamond Club, 65.
Yeah. Right. Hey, look at this. Because of this, our memory slips. Because remember back in the day, before this came, we had those analog phones. We had to remember 15, 20 different phone numbers.
Right.
Now you only remember yours.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
It took some of that critical thinking away.
That's right. That's right. Because it even though it was slower process, like you said, I still remember my number from Bayshore when I was a kid.
Oh,
665-3051. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Mark, get it. I remember, bro. And then we got to change to 666-6637. Not, It was an area code 613. I remember, bro. And this is like 50 years ago.
I remember my grandmother's number.
What's up, you and your new digs? I see that you and your new digs, you enjoying your new digs and all of that.
Oh, I'm loving it, bro.
I'm seeing the new digs and looking real spiffy and all of that. I'm going like, hey, Zach's in here's the new digs and all. But I heard y'all talking about discipline, and like I told you before, it was a pleasure seeing my nephews. They're 14 and 15 on last weekend, so we spent 3 days together and had a good old time playing cards, eating food, even went downstairs and got the Christmas tree with them. So it was their uncle and the two of them dragging that Christmas tree on upstairs and everything. But when y'all were talking about that whole notion of the old days, I was going like, yeah, I remember when I didn't Google something or definitely do some of that other kind of ways of getting stuff out there. You actually had to look it up. You had to go find an encyclopedia and had to go find the actual material. Now you just tell somebody, go Google it or go find it on the internet. Not knocking that, not knocking the hustle and everything, but it's not as complicated as it was when we had to actually find it. Hey, George, you remember when you had to give citations as to where you found it and all along those lines? The site where you found it. You couldn't just say that you found it on this source. You had to be like, I found it in this particular book, on this particular page, on this particular chapter. And you had to do all that citation. Yep. That was no joke. So that was part of the education that our kids don't necessarily have. They don't necessarily have to say. They just go out there and do the Google thing. Not knocking the hustle, but hey, it is what it is.
Yep, that library was the Google.
That's right. The good thing about that too, it gave us another place to socialize and taught us how to be quiet but still communicate with each other. Because when you go to the library, you can't go in there all loud and boisterous. You have to go in and chill. So you become part of a community, a collective mindset that's a collective thought that's gathering information. And this is what the creator does, right? That's why I still read books. People say, well, you still read books? Yeah, I read them online, but I still read books, hardcover and online books, because I don't want to just assume and have information pumped into me that I didn't actually process,
Yep. Our people, man, we read more books than any of the youngsters out here now today, because they don't read books. They read this, you see? And we read so many books. We got way more knowledge than what these youngsters got nowadays.
Yeah, they do. Mark, you want to hang on with us for a minute? I want to run a few of these spots, man, and give some shout outs. We're hanging out with George DeFunkovici. Please stay with us, y'all. Stay active on the chat line. I know Jack's toes. I like that comment, man. And keep them coming, please. And thank you for joining the show. I appreciate that. Spitting facts right now for real, And I think because we get a chance to do shows like this and spend our time, we thank you guys for spending time with us. So right now, I just want to run a spot or two so y'all can check some stuff.
Hey fam, what's goody good? What's really good? My name is Jeff Roberson from the gospel group called Jeff Roberson and New Life. And I'm coming to you from the town that we had to name it twice. It's so nice. New York. And I'm bringing you some news about my brother from another mother, Brother Zach, who's bringing you his hot new show called Funk from the Front Seat. Listen, he's bringing you funk from the vault, from the past, from the present, and into the future. He's got that music that makes the hair on the back of your neck rise up. He's bringing you funk all the way down to your toes. This is that funk that makes you really want to groove. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial as he brings you funk from the front seat. Listen, let's go!
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guest, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
Hey, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here with Holistic Restoration, inviting you to check out Zach Robinson with Funk in the Front Seat. He drops new episodes every Saturday at noon on the East Coast time, and replays are posted for whenever you miss a live stream. You can find him on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube, and get ready for the funk because he brings it every week along with hot topics, amazing guests, and great conversations. Again, that's Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Go check them out.
Hey, this is Jen Vanderputten, writer of Code and Prose. You are watching Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Roberson. Tune in every Saturday at noon for excellent and important conversation.
Yeah, that's just a few people that I wanted to shout out and make sure, if you guys have any shout outs and you ever want to do some drops on me, please send it to me or Mr. Mark Lee, my producer, via Facebook or Funk from the Front Seat. Make it no longer than like a minute and a half, man, because we love to share our visions and our views with people. We're hanging out with my guy, my artist, Mr. George Funkovici. But I wanted to share something with you guys really quick before we get back into this conversation and jump back on the other side. Actually, in my new place now, I got a beautiful roommate. We're sharing this beautiful home. I've been blessed to get in this space, man, and I'm so happy. And this Curtis Wilcox, I didn't get a chance to hang it up yet, but bro, it goes right over here, just so you know, right? I was scrambling today, but Curtis Wilcox, George Funkovici, and Patricia Dioria, they all do my artwork. And if you look in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see Funk from the Front Seat, my logo. That was also done and enhanced by Mr. Curtis Wilcox. Jack's Toes, I really appreciate your comment, bro. We're really trying to make a difference in society. Please join us. Please follow us, man. And please, any new subscribers, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Give us the likes. We don't do this for money. I don't get paid anything. I put a lot of time and effort into getting, really cool guests and people like that. So I really, really appreciate everybody that supports this show because it's your show. It's really a show about us. It's really a show about what we want to do, how we want to be better, how we can make things better. And every guest that ever comes on this show has always brought some insight, some artwork, some music. Now, Mr. Mark Lee, you back there? Because we got a special song that we want to run for you before we jump back in. My guy, Shindig, shout out, Shindig. I love you, bro. He's on the show. He's a reg that comes on. He got this dope Christmas song, right, that we want to run. And also, I met a brother last night when I was working, and he gave me his logo. And for everybody in Durham, especially that's watching North Carolina, I want you to support this young man. He's got his own detailing car business. So, Mark, can we show the Christmas song first? Thank you, sir. The hardest working man in show business, Mr. Mark Lee. My brother from another mother. Always classy, never sassy, never lies. Go for it.
We all felt the naughty action.
Yo, that's my guy. Shit, dig, I'm loving it, bro. Shout out. Yo, man, anything that anybody ever has, you send it to me. Mark and I get it up. We're hanging out with George the Funk Da Vinci. Mark Lee is back and forth bouncing. David Brooks may beam him, but he may not. And we're doing this special show today because we're coming down to the end of the year. We're in December, the 12th month. Everybody doing their thing. I got some advice for you. Don't spend money that you don't have. This is a time of change, of movement. Get ready to get into 2024. And just remember, it's not always about a sack full of goodies. Sometimes it's just about a sack full of knowledge. Sometimes some of the things that we can say are just as important of a gift as some things that you can buy for somebody. So just keep that in mind. I want to read some of these comments. I'm going to put them up because I think they're important. David Brooks, going back to the sunshine thing, we're always about health, peace, love, and harmony as well on the show. You need vitamin D because without vitamin D, you know, you're really depriving your body of one of the most important things. You know, and also David Brooks put up a funny one. He said, you know, Columbus was the Trump of his day, of that time, you know. And Jack's Toes, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for joining in. Please follow us, man. You know, he said what's good. And, you know, he also mentioned that, you know, we spit facts and we try to do that. We stay in our lane. You know what I'm saying? We stay in our lane. And we try to keep it real. You know, you really know what's going on in today's society. Thank you for doing this work. Hey, bro, anytime you want to come on and anything that we can do or anything you think we can do better or you have any suggestions or comments, please hit me up. You can always find me, Zach Robertson, Facebook, or, you know, Funk from the Front Seat, Facebook, private chat me. And, you know, we'll get into some things. I had to do this rant because, believe me, all of this stuff has been building up inside of me all year long. Now, this is one. George, I'm going to ask you, do you think football games are fixed?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Hold on. We got somebody else beaming. Hold on. Dr. Brookenstein is here. Let me bring him in. Dr. Brookenstein, what up, bro? What up?
Here you go.
Yo,
this is the brother right here. This brother. What's up with that?
He's rolling the nappy head funk. I need a shirt like that.
You got one coming. It's coming to you when I see New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? Good to see y'all too.
You too. How you been, man? How's Philly?
Philly's doing fine. It's doing fine up here.
Yeah. Good. That's good, man. God bless you. Thank you for doing all the spiritual work you do. And everything that you do. And for those of you that don't know, this brother is the heartbeat of the funk community when it comes to reviews and letting y'all know the real deal.
Yes.
This brother beams in at every concert around the world, interviews every funk band around the world.
That's
and
right.
if you want to know something, if David Brooks don't know, it probably didn't happen.
Yep.
Ain't that right? Ain't that the truth? Yo,
That's
if you don't know, bro, didn't happen. So
Didn't
thank
happen.
you.
Right.
And also, you have an inspirational corner on Facebook, so y'all follow David Brooks on his Facebook page too, man.
Yes.
So Brooks, let me ask you, man, because George is in Texas, I'm in North Carolina, Mark and I are in North Carolina, and you're up in Pennsylvania and Philly.
Yes.
What's the vibe like when it comes to teachers and how they're being perceived and how they're being treated? I'm really concerned about our educational system.
I'm not really sure about that. I haven't been in the school for a long, long time, but I think the vibe's pretty good. Yeah, I don't really know offhand.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason why I asked is because there's a national movement that the whole country is running short of teachers. Nobody wants to teach anymore. Teachers are quitting. That's why I asked. And I didn't know about Pennsylvania or Philly, but a lot of people are just leaving, man. But let me ask you a question. Do you think they get paid enough?
It might be they're not getting paid enough, and also have to deal with these really, really bad kids in the schools. That's another problem too. That the kids don't respect the teachers at all.
Why do you think that is?
It's just parenting. The parents aren't doing anything with these teachers, with the children. It's bad parenting. Yeah.
Remember back in the day, we didn't respect substitute teachers. See, substitute teachers used to catch hell. Now it's the real teachers that's catching hell. See?
Right.
I remember when you talk about substitutes, to me, every substitute teacher I ever had came in and said, listen, I don't care what y'all do, just don't make any noise.
Right.
That was a
It was
free day
free
right
time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Group
I remember.
time. You could chat with the little girl you be trying to pet up on.
Mhm.
And then you know what's the good part? You can move your desk around and sit next to your friend. The one
Yeah.
that the real teacher separated you. You could be like, no, I've been
Mhm.
sitting here all along.
Yep.
I remember back in the day, teachers used to be able to beat your behinds right in the classroom.
Yep.
Yeah, I
That's
remember
what we were
that.
saying
back in the
before
day.
you came on. You
Yeah.
know? Let me ask you all this, and then I just want to jump on this, but I ain't going to harp on it too long. But I want to get into a little political rant after this. And we're doing our favorite rants. I'm hanging out, Dr. Brookenstein, worldwide, person of funk that actually is a funk, I want to say, connoisseur of information. Dr. Brookenstein, and of course,
Right,
George.
hold on a second. Somebody's ringing my doorbell.
No worries, bro. George DeFunk, we got you covered. George DeFunk, Vinci Hudson, world-renowned funk artist, and for George Clinton, Carlin, and the whole funk thing, and doing and picking up the slack, and running with that torch. And this brother, let me tell you, is amazing, powerful, spiritual brother, and I love him. I love him to death, man. You and April, I can't wait to see y'all. But our football game's fixed.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
I had to say it.
It is, man. I mean, when you watch a game back in the day, when you watch the game, a lot of things that went back then don't even happen now. And even back then they were fixed. I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm a Cowboy fan. They're called America's team, right? And because of that, look at all them championships. Okay, I think it's definitely fixed. The referees, they get paid to call games, and they don't call it. They don't call it for real. Yeah.
You know what I noticed, and like you, I became a football fan in 1967, 2 years before the Jets won the Super Bowl. And I noticed, and this is not every player or every ref or every coach, but I noticed there's certain things, especially, and I got to jump back for a minute before I get into the fixation of it. Remember about the football cards, the illegal ones that the mob used to always give out and everything? In New York City, we had the football card, you played them, right? And we knew the spread, the point spread, and they even had shows, Jimmy the Greek coming on, talk about the point spread on CBS, this and that. The NFL was always dead set against gambling.
Yeah.
Don't gamble. They even kicked the kid out for gambling. Don't gamble on the league. Now, Bet Rivers and every commercial you see during the NFL, what is it about? Gambling.
Gambling.
So now the NFL completely did a 360, and it's like, no, gambling is good now. You know what I'm saying? We're going to bring Dr. Brooks back. Gambling is good now. So now, this is what I see happening. Because of the fantasy football, because of the amount of gambling that goes into the NFL, they changed the rules where defense can't play.
Yeah.
And that's where the fix comes in. Because now you got referees that are told, okay, watch the clock, watch the score, and if you think or you're told, hey, it should be a certain amount of points over or under, you're going to either not throw the flag or throw it against the team that you're working against. And I ain't just saying this because I'm a Jet fan, but I'm saying this as a sports fan. I see it in basketball. I see it in not so much baseball because it's hard to tell, but I see it in football for real. And I just wish the NFL would stop being a hypocrite about it. That's what pisses me off. Just go ahead and say, listen, this is a television product. It's for TV. And the outcome is pretty much determined a lot of times. I'll let y'all go ahead.
Yeah. Well, hey, like I said, man, football, nowadays they done got to the point to where their quarterbacks and some of the players on the field, they got little mics little things in their ear. They're being told what to do. Okay. The plays to run and everything. And then, The quarterback is the main one. He get told, look, overthrow this guy. You know, yeah, it's fixed. It's so fixed. And the referees, they said, don't call this guy. He's gonna hold this guy. Don't call it. Don't throw the flag. I mean, it's so fixed.
It is, and I know this. Go ahead, Brooks. Jump in, bro. I know you're an Eagles fan. I got your Eagles fan.
I got nothing to really say. Y'all go right here and talk.
All I can say is on Monday Night Football, when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, the Jets was destined to lose that game. The refs did everything they could to help us win because it was 9-11 in New York City. Josh Allen drops back, closed his eyes, and just threw the ball up, knowing that we was going to get the interception. He did it twice, and we still almost couldn't win it. But we got an overtime. And then I looked at the play, and I was like, this is Josh Allen, the top 5 quarterback. Patrick Mahomes did the same shit. He gave us 2. And then they took it back when we intercepted the ball. And that's just my team. I've seen things on the football field this year where the kid, caught the ball. It was a touchdown. And way on the other side of the field, they called offensive guy grazing the helmet of somebody to bring it back. You know what I'm saying? He grazed it. He didn't even grab it. He grazed it. Because the guy put his head down, the offense and the defensive guy, and he grazed it. And I was like, so it got nothing to do with the play way over here. I just had to get that off my chest because America, come on, don't be so gullible. Stop spending all your money. The NFL is draining you. Yeah, crushing you. And go ahead, George.
Oh, I was just gonna say, here's a fact. Look, a quarterback throws a ball to the other guy directly, not like interception should be a miracle, okay? Right. Because you're not blind. You're gonna throw a ball and it goes straight to the guy, okay? That he was told to do that, okay? Yeah, because you conscious. You ain't gonna throw it to you're not gonna throw it to a guy in the other jersey. You're gonna wait for one of your guys to get wide open, throw it to him. But when they throw it and it's directly to the guy, oh yeah, somebody told him.
I just think that it has a lot to do with gambling and fantasy football. Yeah. The more I see, because they're making billions of dollars on top of billions. And to me, it's like this too. If you make it all that money, why are you charging me to watch the game on TV when it used to be for free?
Exactly.
Nothing changed.
No, but they got some new changes. You got an entire social media network that you could go watch your football game on because YouTube got a contract now with the NFL. Which
that's what I watch. YouTube TV. You still got to pay for it.
Yeah, YouTube TV. So they got that and everything. But the other thing you're talking about football, and I'm thinking to myself that there are teams that are not that great. Like I said, I love dearly and have loved them for decades. My Vikings were 6-6 and they're still in the playoff hunt because Seattle lost 2, so they're 6-6. And I think that they say that the team that might win the East or whichever one that Atlanta is in, I guess that's the NFC South, that their record might be under 500. So I think that winner of that particular division right now is like 5-7 or 5-6. So we might even have some losing teams that have some playoff destinations. So I'm going wait a minute, if you're losing, should you be in the playoffs? But it doesn't make any sense to me and everything. I was going to tease Dr. Brookenstein because I was going to actually pivot to basketball because, they got this new thing going on because like you talked about, they find ways to make money. So the NBA came up with this thing called the NBA Cup. It's like a championship in the middle of the NBA season.
Tournament.
And Philadelphia lost to Boston. So they were in the cup until yesterday because they lost in the elimination round. So they were there. The Lakers are doing well. There are a number of other teams that are doing well as well.
They got that from Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even watch basketball until like March, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even get interested in it because I'm down with football for that. And then after the Super Bowl, then I start picking up interest in my New York Knicks. Okay, we just had to get that off our chest. We're having a roundtable today. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee, Mr. George the Funk Avenger, of course, Dr. Brookenstein, Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in my new digs and I'm loving it. I love my roommate. She's dope. Vaughn, if you're watching, I know you probably hear my big mouth, but it's all good. Shout out to everybody on the thread, all our new members. We love you. Please join the page. And please follow us. We're trying to do some good. Now, let's get serious for a minute, right? And you guys can jump in when you want. One of my rants, and this is one of mine, using fear to scare us into the herd mentality, the government. So I'm going to just put that platform out here. And, George, I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, man. It's a fear. It's a fear factor, just like the series. You know, they're using all our social media, the news, everything to spit out stuff that scare us. Like look at that COVID stuff when that came out. You know, you're gonna catch it if you don't get this shot. Yeah, they scare you into doing it, you know, and I mean it's crazy. It's like making us, you know, they'll make us go buy this food. They'll advertise, oh, this food is bad for you, that food is bad for you. Then a year later, oh, it's good for you. You know, it's like it's confusing, man. It's confusing. That's all I got to say about that.
Dr. Brooks.
I think it's just all for profit, you know, just profiting on people's fears. I mean,
amen.
If you give people just to think, you know, okay, if I don't do this, I'm gonna, you know, die. If I don't do this, I'm gonna get this. I may just go out here and buy this or buy that. You know, it's just a way for them to profit off of our emotions and fears. Yeah.
Mark, you're mute. You're on mute. Unmute.
I'll unmute. But along those same lines and everything of what Dr. Brooks was saying, or as well as George and all that amazing artwork that he does, is that we're actually seeing fear have a very major role in our society right now. Because me and you, Zach, have talked about this, but part of the fear is fear of others and fear of people that you don't understand. And that's why a lot of people are having anti-Semitic views about the Jewish community. But the flip side of that is there are a lot of folks that are being very Islamophobic and all in that space, and are definitely being scared of the Muslim religion because they don't understand it or don't have an understanding of it or don't even want to talk to people that are of that faith and all along those lines. And y'all mentioned the pandemic earlier. Remember when the first pandemic came out and there was that first inklings of what was about to take place? We were hearing that it was coming from China and a number of Asian people that weren't even from China. They were just of Asian descent. They might have been Korea, they might have been from Thailand or a number of other countries. They were abused, picked on, and in some cases even killed because people were saying that they were the ones that created this disease, even if it came out of a lab of China, and I'm not saying that it did, but even if it did, that is one part of China. China is not a monolithic area, as it is not Asia. Asia is made up of a lot of different nations, and the same can be said of Africa. And even us four gentlemen here, while we may have a lot of things that we agree on, we probably have some different views as well. But if you hear the media talk, they would make us all sound like every African American male is the same, and all in that space. And we know that we have different views, different faith walks, different spiritual walks, and all in that space. Because I actually saw, and I'll just end on this note, I had the privilege yesterday of hearing a talk about a Buddhist monk who is also a member of the queer community. So he was actually speaking here and all along those lines. So big shout out to Lama Rod Owens, who is part of that community, but he's talking about faith and the importance of faith and the faith walk and all in that space, but also us being a unified people and walking that peace walk, which is really what Buddhism is about, and all in that space. So like I said, he was a very powerful speaker, both him and the young lady that was talking as well. And she's part of the creative community here as an author and all in that space. But it was definitely a great conversation. But yeah, it's a lot of that division that you were talking about, Dr. Brookenstein and George. And I know me and Zach have talked about it before. What's that old saying? Divided I conquer, united you stand. I think it's a line in one of your songs, Zach, and all in that space. So definitely, you know, we got to stand united and not do the whole division okie doke.
You know, there's so many ways, and thank you for that, Mark and George and Dr. Brookenstein. There's so many ways that we can, as individuals, like this show, spreading peace, love, and harmony and spirituality and whatever you believe in. We're not a show of any one thing. We're just a show. And we just have people on and we sit and vibe and talk and chat and do music and stuff. So we appreciate anybody that has any input, because we're never going to let that go without said. Go ahead, Brooks.
I was gonna say, as far as Mark's comment about the Islamophobia, remember back on 9/11, when 9/11 happened, after there was so much Islamophobia, people couldn't stand people that were Muslims. Yeah, I remember. I was thinking about that. How people were just treating
and you're right, because I lived it in New York City, having
Yeah.
been there, and I was there when all that went down. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous because there were people that were Hasidic, there were people that of the Jewish faith that looked Muslim, all kinds of people were being attacked, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, just because they had the same skin tone as somebody
Right.
that appeared. And then there were black Muslims that were like, listen, we ain't got nothing to do with it. So again, the words we use, and be careful, words are spelling. Always remember that. That's why they call it
They
spelling.
think that all Muslims were or rape or terrorists. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, and that's not the case at all.
It's not the case at all, and we're even seeing that now and everything. Because I mean, I can't tell you how many people I hear that talk about Hamas and Hamas. There's no doubt that they are a terrorist organization, and they did an atrocious thing on October 7th. But you got a lot of people out in society that will swear up and down that everybody that is Palestinian is Hamas. That's like saying that everybody that is white is MAGA, and we know that that's not the case either. So that's kind of watch those kind of siloing people and sticking them in categories just because they are part of the same group as people that did a horrible thing and all along those lines. Because definitely that's something you got to be cautious about, because that is a group that was a minority group and definitely did an atrocious act on that particular day and everything. But I'm also not letting go of some of the horrors that some of the Zionists and Israel folks have done as well. So we have to be careful and understand that they're not a monolith, but they are also not blameless either, because they also have to.
But let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this. Do you think our level of concern has superseded our need to help our own country? Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I heard you, and I'll go in, and I don't know if George.
Because here's my thing. I think it's cool to be concerned and do what we can, but we got people here under the bridge. You know what I'm saying?
No, and definitely. And George, you want to jump in, but I would say that part of what is going on is that, yeah, we can be concerned about the global community, and we should be concerned about the global community, especially when the world is so much smaller. I mean, that George can deliver his artwork to France if he wants to, and all along those lines. But at the same time, while we can be concerned about the French people, like you just said, Zach, me and you are living in the Triangle. You're in Raleigh now, and I'm in Durham, and all in that space. But whether either of these cities, we can go out there and run into people that are literally living on the bridge, or that are literally having a hard time finding something to eat, or literally having some other issues. So when we see all those trillions of dollars going to those foreign countries, I get it from a standpoint of our allies and the military stuff, but we got people that are struggling right here that need some help, and all in that space. So yeah, I think that we are probably wasting too much money in terms of helping our brothers and sisters from overseas when we've got issues we need to address here in this area.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I first heard about our president giving out money to help fight wars and stuff over there, and trillions of dollars, and I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute, that money can put everybody over here in a house, okay, and feed them for years. I mean, we over here pressing our own money. This nation, our country should not be broke at all. Like, nobody in here should be living under a bridge. When I went to Europe, I didn't see hardly anybody living under a bridge, okay? Because they take care of their people. We're the only country really that don't cater to our own, you see, and help our own have a roof over their head. Everybody should have a roof over their head. I don't care what issues they have, okay? And they should feed our people like that. We should have our people fed like that. Nobody should go hungry over here, okay? All that money that we've been giving away, I mean, that part got me mad. I that's a pet peeve of mine, we shouldn't. I mean, actually, our military shouldn't even be out in them other countries. Okay, we should be here guarding our own. Okay, like I couldn't understand why we're out there in Korea, we're out there in Germany. You know, why? You know, bring everybody back to our borders. We wouldn't have a border crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have it because we'll have our own military guarding every inch. Okay, who needs a wall when you got a full military?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brooks. Jump in there.
Yeah. I was just thinking about. I agree with what George said. Also, we need to take care of this issue with the mental illness in our country.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I was downtown riding the subway. I must have bumped into somebody, and I said, excuse me to him. And this person comes into the next subway car, and he's like, coming to my face, like, don't do that again. Don't do that again. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, don't do that again. And he walks away. He's like pissed off. And last year, I was downtown on Market Street, walked into a building that connects to the Pennsylvania Convention Center. And I go up to this, there used to be like a big sports bar inside that building. I guess they closed after the pandemic. And I walked there a person, and I was looking inside, trying to figure out if there's like a sign that says, what time what day they actually close up. And I couldn't find anything. So I walked away, and this person came to me like, man, don't stick with me like that again. Don't stick behind me like that again, all right? I'm like, oh God, okay. I didn't get attacked, but I was like, okay, what's going on with this?
Yeah.
People that are mentally ill right now, I don't know what to do with these people. But we need to talk about the mentally ill people because this is not good. I mean, it's just dangerous out there. I know it's all spirits. It's all like, spirits in the atmosphere. So we need to pray for these spirits in the atmosphere. We need to pray for all that's going on in our country right now with the people that are mentally ill. We need to pray against that spirit right now. And we need to put money towards people that are mentally ill as well as people that are out there homeless.
Yeah.
And then also that those that are also dealing with crisis like, the opioid crisis, the drug crisis, stuff like that.
Brooks and George and Mark make a very good point. And I'm going to read something to you guys. A lot of you might not be old enough to remember this. I was actually born when this actually happened this year, 58. One of the best, greatest, most, I would say, leaders this country ever had was Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can disagree with that. He said, his farewell address, in the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, corporate America, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex, getting in bed with corporate America. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. Now, those words should echo. He told us then, listen, they're kicking me out of government. They're getting ready to get in bed with corporate America. That was our first mistake. Because when you're in bed with corporate America, there are many great corporations. There are many great people that do great things. But one thing I do know, corporate is about money. They ain't about people. Yeah. They're about power.
Well, Zach, there's a recent government initiative that was put out there, and a lot of people say it is the worst thing that was ever put out there in terms of history because it actually treats corporations as people. But if you look up a thing called Citizens United and all in that space, there's this whole conversation around whether corporations should have the same rights as people and everything. And while they are made up of people, I don't think that they need to have those same kinds of rights. And that's part of what Citizens United was all about. And a lot of people say it is the worst decision that was ever made because it actually gives people that kind of feeling of being an entity, a personal entity versus the corporation, which is what it actually is. And Zach, in those same lines of what you just said about historical facts and everything, some of these historical facts are even though they were at a time that either you were born or that the one I'm going to mention, I was very young. I think I was 3 or 4 and everything. Their message still resonates. And that's what scares me, is that we're in the year 2023 in less than a month, because today is December 2nd. We will be in 2024. And some of the words that Malcolm X said, some of the words that Martin Luther King said, some of the words that a number of other great leaders said are still, I'd even put the Black Panthers in that conversation, are still resonating true today, because we didn't heed the message that they were giving us, and we didn't listen to the message that they were giving us. As a matter of fact, we're talking about earlier Palestine and the Gaza situation. Believe it or not, if you go back and look in history, Malcolm X actually visited Gaza, I believe it was in 1965, and warned about this kind of activity, because he was already seeing the settlements that were taking place at that time. So we're talking about just a little bit less than 50 years ago that this took place, and he was recognizing, well, less than 60 years ago, I should say, that he was recognizing that this was happening, and all in that space. So that to me is scary in a lot of ways.
And things of that nature.
Yeah.
If you look, most every president we've had in our lifetime, all of them dealt with a war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all of them. There's not one president that hadn't had ties into a war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we sitting back looking and waiting on the one that's going to actually start a World War III. You see, and I believe it's going to be our president that do it.
Hey, George, are you sure we're not in the middle of a World War III? I want y'all to think about what I'm going to lay down to y'all. There was a war started almost 2 years ago called Russia invading Ukraine. Then recently, after October 7th, we had the Israel-Hamas war. And Zach, you may not know this, so I'm just going to break it down to our listeners and everything. But on tomorrow, that would be Sunday, there's going to be a vote in Venezuela, because Venezuela wants to raid Guyana, which is an oil-rich country. So that would be not 2, but 3 wars. And I'm sure that I've left some out, including some of the African nations as well. But that's 3 major wars that could literally be in our backyard effective tomorrow, because he's going to put it to his people to vote on whether they should invade Guyana on tomorrow afternoon. So they'll be voting on that tomorrow afternoon.
It's a secret war, a secret World War III. That's what it is. And pretty soon it's going to be all blown out. It's going to just be in the opening. You see, right now it's under the table, but it's coming out. Yeah.
I like what Miss Panther said. Michael Jackson, they don't give a damn about us. You're absolutely right.
That's right.
Absolutely right. You know what? We got 10 minutes left, and we're hanging out with 4 beautiful spirits right now on Funk from the Front Seat, and everybody's on the chat line. We appreciate you guys, man. Stay active, and we want to make this show inclusive for everyone of all races, creeds, colors, genders. It don't really matter. We come on and kick it straight. Dr. Brooker Stein, Jordan Funk Vinci, Mark Lee, and myself. We're here today just to kind of spit some stuff out you and rant a little bit. I'm going to give you guys the last word, but my final thought for today is that as we go to 2024, and like George just said, these wars, and that Mark just said that we're getting ready to get into, don't take it out on each other. Remember, there are things we have control over, and there are things that we don't. And remember, at the top of the show, I said, learn to separate your anxiety from your anger. Anger is something that Sadhguru teaches us. We all deal with it in different ways. Learn to separate it. Don't put the 2 together, because that's when your days run together. You lose track of time. That's when, like, everything in front of you seems like you're stuck in mud. So I'm just going to tell you, know that you are loved, know that you are very important, and know that you have a family here at Funk from the Front Seat, and we're part of one race, the human race. That's my last word, and I'm going to give it to y'all for your last words. David, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. I just want to say to everyone, have a great holiday season. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of those that's around you. And just continue to love yourself, continue to just live a blessed life, and could just continue to pray for all that's going on, all the wars that's going on, all the crime that's going on, everything that's going on around this world. Continue to pour everything up in prayer. that's all I got to say.
That works for me. Namaste. George, what you got for me?
Well, hey, I like Dr. Birkenstein said, you know, I hope everybody have a beautiful holiday. And this world needs a Band-Aid, okay? It needs a Band-Aid big time. And with a little bit of antiseptic on it.
It's a mature cone.
Yeah, we need
Back in the
that,
day.
man. Yeah, you know, I need everybody to just, you know, live with peace, you know, and take that and spread that around, you know, because without that, we're all going to kill ourselves, you know, and you know, just every country needs to just band together, get rid of all the Napoleons and get rid of all the money grabbers, you know, and put everybody on a level playing field to where, you know, we're all living good, you know, because it can be done. It's just the people that need to be a leader, you know, we don't really need leadership like that. We just all get along and be at peace with one another, and everybody can live properly, you know, and without having to go with it, you know, money. Just lay money out. Just take it out and just, you know, let everybody have peace, you know, and live right. And this will be a better world if we all love one another like that and have peace, you know. That's all I got to say about that.
That's dope. Mark.
Speaking of learning and education, it's never too late to learn and be educated. We're talking about education, and definitely, as I've said before, I've got teachers in my life, and teachers need to be supported. They need to get the money that they deserve, and all along those lines. But even our own personal journeys, we can continue to be educated ourselves as well, because one of the things that we can do is we can continue to learn a new skill. I mean, I have this friend of mine who is a master musician. He has been a master musician ever since he was in New York City and all along those lines, and I helped train him into this lovely space of live streaming and all in that way. So Zach Robertson has now got a new skill that he can add to his repertoire as well. And in that same space, part of the reason that I wasn't in as early as I would have liked is because we were having a number of things going on here at Hayti, and I actually had to freshen up one of my skills because I've done it before, but it's been a minute since I've done it. So I actually had to hang some paintings. So I'm actually staring at the paintings that I helped hang and all along those lines, because there was no artwork up here in the area, and there's some artwork that is here in the building that is in our stash that we can put up when the walls are empty, because the boss lady was here and she was like, wait a minute, we can't have a jazz show on tomorrow and not have some art on the walls and all in that space. So that's part of the reason of my being late.
Let me ask you a question for those that live in North Carolina. What is Hayti?
Hayti Heritage Center is a cultural arts
keep
center.
It short. We out.
Yeah, Hayti Heritage Center is a cultural arts center that covers all kinds of cultural activities. So it is a meeting space, it is an art gallery, it is a performance space, and it is a number of other things that are done here. As a matter of fact, the North Carolina Jazz Ensemble, which is our resident jazz band, will be performing on tomorrow. It sometimes supports our businesses as well. And just really quickly, if it's okay with you, I know that we sometimes like to support our business community.
I was going to say, awesome job.
Yep. So definitely that's something we can do, is also support our business community. And this is one of the business people that Zach had the pleasure of meeting and all along those lines. So definitely get out there and support this gentleman, just like we need to support our business owners of all sorts, be they African-American, Latin American, or a number of others, because small business is a vital part of the world. Last thing I'll say is one of the gentlemen that I met recently was a member of the Black Farmers coalitions and organizations here in this area. He's actually working at here where you've now moved to. He's in Raleigh at the North Carolina Museum of History, but the gentleman was talking to me, and hopefully we'll get him on this show, but he's a supporter of Black farmers, and there are a number of Black farmers here and all in that initiative. So hopefully we'll get that gentleman on that I was just introduced to, that is a curator of both history and other things that deal with our Black farmers.
Dope.
And I'm hoping to get him here on Funk from
That's
the Front
dope.
Seats. So definitely we'll have that continued conversation so we can support some of our own, including this gentleman that is doing car detailing that you had the pleasure of meeting. And on that note, I'm going to be out of here, but definitely that's my thoughts and everything.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Thank you guys for staying active on the chat line. We've been really, really fortunate to have a great group of guests over the past 4 years, almost going on 5 years now, whatever. I forget how long, but it's been really an amazing thing. What's that list of viewers thing, Mark? You know what that is up here? What is that? That just
what is it? What does it say? Let me see what it says.
Am I seeing on my screen? I don't know what that's about.
Oh no, that's the amount of, if you're seeing like the little eyeballs and everything, that's like 2 people are currently watching, and then 1 person gave thumbs up. So you may be seeing that, and it does give us that.
But who put it up there?
They StreamYard puts that up there. StreamYard put that up there, and you can actually see.
But I don't want to see that.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to.
I didn't tell them to put that up there.
We'll have to talk to the power to be at StreamYard. I'll see what I can.
Oh, that's that eyeball up there at the top. Okay.
That eyeball is what that is. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, it was cool. It just scared me because I'm like, wait, I don't like when things are out of my control. You know what I'm saying, George? I'm like, wait, who told them to put that up there? We're gonna end with stuff. I know, right? People are watching. They totally freaking the screen out now on me, man. I don't like it. The matter of fact, StreamYard, they made some really nice advancements. So thank you, StreamYard, for it. The problem was we didn't get any tutorials on it. So that flipped me out a little bit. But I was going to end with something that I want you guys to check out, man. It's one of my favorite things to see. Thank you guys for hanging out. Funk from the Front Seat. I'll see y'all next Saturday.
It's however you feel, but you just have to fit it between that space, that little space that you got, which is 1. 1. 1. And then you would try to fit your different notes, but you felt in between it, like. And that's the funk. And you can change that. And that's the funk. And you can change that.
of the funk is the power of the one, Bob. One!
The power of the one, George, Mark, love y'all, man. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. To my audience, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been nothing but another great show. Funk on the Front Seat every Saturday, 9 a.m. on Pacific time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I get out of here. See you later.
Peace.
Peace.